Hello everyone, welcome along to this week's Super 6 podcast with Laura Woods and Bayo Akin Fenwa. Hello.
Yo, what's going on, LW? Good?
I'm good. Can I just give the listeners a little insight on what you just said?
Go on.
It's quite a cute moment actually. He said, look, I need to keep this in my mouth. And I thought it was chewing gum. I said, what is it? What did you say?
It was a cough sweet.
Oh, cough
It's
sweet.
a cough sweet. Like, listen, we got back in at 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday from Barnsley. Not a great day at the office. And listen, you get me after game days and you know what, I'm wounded after game days. It gets harder and harder, people. But we ain't going to wallow in self-pity.
Oh.
We're going to get up and keep going. Anyway, LW, what you been up to?
So I have been avoiding Christmas shopping completely. Oh, I need to do it. I haven't done any at the moment, so I'm going to sort that all out. Lots of football this week, lots of breakfast show action. I've been sort of staggering through this week, if I'm honest.
One of them ones, yeah.
Just one of those ones, isn't it? It's nearly Christmas and it's getting cold outside. So, yeah, you know what? Do you know what I did do the other day, though?
Go on.
Got up at 4 a.m, got on a bike, cycled to work in the dark, pretty much. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I just caught myself for a second because the outfit that I was wearing was just, I looked like a builder. Could have been a boy. Literally had my hood up. I like tightened the strings under my chin as tight as possible. So, because it was cold, like wrapped a scarf around me, put on this like high-vis jacket. Just looked like such a dork.
Do you know, I couldn't think anything worse. Like, when it gets cold, it's a real problem for me. Like, when I be playing games and my toes I couldn't think of anything worse of getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then cycling, choosing to do that. Like, LW, I ain't gonna lie, man, it's a bit nuts. I ain't gonna lie.
It's a Boris bike as well.
Aye.
It's got a little...
Aye,
basket
LW, anything for the cause. Aye. So you been to any games? Did you go, you do any games?
Do you know what? I didn't cover any. What did I do at the weekend? Oh, yeah, I was actually at a game at the weekend. I was at West Brom Palace.
Yeah.
So it was like a bit of a dubious sending off, to be honest. Matthias Prague.
I see that, to
on
be
his
fair.
back, kicked up. I thought it was a little bit unfair. And it just it ruined the game. I felt for West Brom. They're on the front foot. They just scored, actually, just equalised. And then it was a capitulation. It was like 5-1 in the end.
Yeah, to be fair, my boy Eze,
God,
he was
he's
on
good, isn't he?
flames. Shout out Eze and that. But listen, if we're going to talk about that, I honestly feel like, and I know there's been a lot of discussions, but the way the game's going, for me, it's changing the fabric, the whole feel of it. It's so, look, that's 3 games, so that's more or less the same as him punching him or headbutting him, or, and for me, I'm like, it's so minute, and that's just my opinion on it. And listen, I know we're in the lower leagues. Well, actually, we're in the champ now, but,
Yeah, what you on about?
Sorry about that, you get me, I forget. But I've been playing in that, and we don't have VAR, and I just think they're trying to shape the game, the higher game, in a way where, listen, traditional football, and listen, it's going to be hustle and bustle. So I looked at that, and I was thinking, but it's never been a sending off at all. So I'm with you on it. Harsh is an understatement.
Just before we move on as well, what was particularly frustrating about it is that the referee was like, no, that's fine. Had a really good view of it. Then VAR got involved, said, come and have a little look at the monitor. So he went back and then changed his mind. And I don't know, I just thought, you watch it again and again in slow motion, and I think it influences you in a different way. Not that I'm a referee, never have been, never will be. But I don't know, it was unfair. Anyway, so what have you been doing?
All right, check this. So I'm going to tell you. So I think last week, my older brother came to the house, and he must have said we went to go see Mums. So we're all at Mums, and my older brother's talking about what he was watching, and my daughter is an anime fanatic, loves it, right? So, I mean, I used to watch Dragon Ball Z back in the day. That was like my cartoon and that, but I'm not really an anime. So my older brother said, yeah, he just finished watching this show. And my daughter lit up and was like, oh, I've just finished it. They had a full-blown half-an-hour conversation. I was so jealous. I'm watching them two having like a conversation, because my daughter, anybody that follows me knows that I got to bribe my daughter for hugs and kisses. So we play like rock, paper, scissors. Yes, so we play rock, paper, scissors. If she wins, she just says bye. If I win, I'll get a kiss. That's how I got to bribe my daughter. So
she's gonna go far in life.
So how she's doing it, so I don't really see her too much emotional in that, even though, so when the light in her eyes with my brother was mad. And when I'm sitting there, if anybody panned on my face, I'm sitting there watching them two full-blown engrossed in a conversation, and I'm mad jealous. And I'm looking at it, and I'm dipping in like, oh, yeah, I've seen that. And my daughter just dismisses me. I kid you not, for the last 10 days, I've downloaded an app. I've finished one anime season, and I'm on the next season because I want to have the same connection with my. I swear down. So I went back to her.
That's amazing, by the way.
I went back to her and I finished one. She said, "Listen, this is the first one you should watch," and it was a show called Death Note. It was an anime called Death Note, right? And actually, after I finished watching it, she told me about 2 characters in there. She's like, "Listen, there's 2 characters in there, and I like both of them." Fine, I've watched it. And I actually looked at my daughter because one of the characters was evil. And I was thinking, how did you like him? What bit did you like? So it made me look at my daughter thinking, yo, there's something wrong with you. We have to have a conversation.
Wait till her first boyfriend comes in.
Yes. Jeez. So even that. So we done that. So I finished that, went back to back. And then I started another one just so I could have this little connection with my daughter. It's mad, isn't it? Things you do when you're a father. Yeah, that's been my last 10 days, to be fair.
Can I just say, as a woman, that is the loveliest thing I think I've ever heard you say. Honestly, it's so nice. So nice for you to go out your way and find something to connect with your daughter with.
I was jealous. It's more jealousy. It was jealous. I was like, wait, hold on. Wait, my older brother's cooler than me. That's how I was looking at you lot, seeing the nice element.
Has it worked? Do you have a better connection the last 10 days?
Oh, no. I'll be telling her because the shows she thinks are good, I think's terrible. So then she thinks I'm less cool anyway.
So you're further away from each other.
I'm further away. I'm like, wait, this show's terrible. She's like, oh, you ain't got no skills. You don't know this. And her and my brother, she'd be looking at my brother and say, yeah, Uncle Yemi thinks it's, I'm like, yo, you lot. That's like, anyway. So this has got nothing to do with trying to really connect. I just didn't want anybody to think my older brother was cooler than me. So anyway, let's just leave it on that nicey bit. Yeah, that's what
honestly, like, if I didn't like sport, I swear to God, my dad would not know what to say to me.
Yeah.
It would literally be, it would be a conversation of, "You're right, babe, how are you?" And that would be all that would come out of his mouth. If we didn't have sport to talk about, I swear that's probably why I was so into it when I was younger. It's mad, isn't it? But daddies and their little girls.
Exactly, daddies and their little girls. Jeez.
All right, shall we get into it?
Yeah, come on, yeah.
Let's do it. We're going to get into the podcast, Super 6. If you want to get involved on Twitter, the hashtag, as always, is Super6Podcast. And if you want to follow us, you can do at Super6. Let's do it. Right, the great guests on this podcast keep coming by. Today, we've got someone that made the transition so seamlessly between playing football, being a big character, and then going into media and managing to just be that character even more, be his own self. It is Jimmy Bullard. Good morning, Jimmy.
Morning, guys. How are we? Thank you
guy.
so much for having me on.
Hey, come on now. This is my guy. JB is my guy, you know. I'm telling you, like, we've worked seamlessly time and time. And, like, his energy, I always say that, look, you can't fake energy. You can't fake good energy. And his energy is so authentic. Like, nah, man, he's my guy, man. What's going on, Jay? How are you?
Thanks, my man. Thank you so much. Yeah, and looking forward to having this chat with you.
Wow.
And thanks for having us on. I'm all right, boy. I'm all right.
The facial hair and that. What's the...
Nice,
what's the...
I like it.
Shall I be honest? I was thinking, first of all, I've got to apologise. I'm late for this.
Yeah,
so
you
I
are.
do apologise.
I'm not going to hold that against you because I'm late all the time as well. So I can hold it against
I hate doing it. I'm not, I'm really on me lateness. But I was meant to have a shave and I thought, no, it's winter. So I started growing this from early October and I'm still struggling.
But listen, I kid you not. You think you're struggling. On my life, mine has been 18 months.
That's 18 months growth.
This is 18 months growth. Like, my little brother and my
what about
older
your
one.
head? What about the top of your head?
Nah. That can't stay. That goes off, B. You get me? You can't. You need a clean shaven. But yeah, I really can't grow a beard.
No.
I really can't grow one. Nah, man.
What you've got there looks like it's like designer stubble. It's actually all right. It suits you.
Yeah. But I'm trying to get the whole full, you know.
You want a proper beard.
You know that one.
He wants a power beard.
I want a power beard where I walk in the room, they're like, ooh,
your
that
beard
really
gets
is
there
the
first.
beard.
Yeah.
You know them ones, cuz.
Manicured so you can put a comb through it.
So I can comb it.
You can get beard oil as well.
Jeez.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's jump in. We start talking about beards. Let's jump in.
Listen, Jimmy, I don't really know where to start with you because there's so many different places. I think really your career, if we can take you back, cast your mind back, your personality was almost as synonymous as your career as a footballer, if you know what I mean. They came hand in hand. I don't think you could watch you play football without knowing the kind of person that you are. And I think everybody really enjoyed it. Everybody really bought into it. When you cast your mind back on your playing career, what are those moments that you miss the most?
I've got so many. Let me pick you up from there. As a kid, I was so shy, Laura. I was so shy.
That's crazy.
And I don't know how I developed into this person who now doesn't care about a lot, really. I don't know how I become this. I think football brought out of me being around a lot of men, being in a hostile environment. But I tell you, in a change room, you've got to stand up and be counted. You can get left behind, So I think it happened. I signed for West Ham at the start of my career, and the likes of you got to remember I was 18, 19. As I say, I was a scared kid. I still live with my mum and dad, so signed with Riise Ruddock, Ian Wright, John Moncur, John Hartson, Paolo Di Canio, Harry Redknapp as manager. I think that really put me in good stead, and since that it was like wow, and it sort of my fears drifted, and then it made me become the person I am with less fear and less sort of, I say less care. I always cared, but I didn't care on opinions against me. So I was always I was just myself, and I become myself quite early. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then now I'm 42, I've really spread my wings, and I'm just the person I want to be every day, really. And I try to not offend others as much as possible. That's how I live my life. And I just become, and playing football, to pick up on your question, I didn't just see it as football. I wanted, because I'm an attention seeker, guys, I wanted to entertain the thousands watching on their seats, and I also knew there were cameras there, and I also knew my family was watching. So I used to just not worry about the result. I wanted to entertain. Yeah. Can you connect? Surely, Bayo, you know what I'm on about.
No, 100%. I mean, I'm quieter than you, but I get what you're saying on that. But listen, I want to touch on something. Do you think your character and your energy has overshadowed how good of a player you was? Do you think that, it's been JB the Joker rather than... Because, listen, I'm not blowing smoke up your,
yeah.
But even when you watch you on Soccer AM, technically, and when you look back at your career, fam, you was a problem. You was a real baller. So do you feel your character, people honed in on your character rather than, listen, JB's a real footballer? Or do you feel like, you know what, it was cool, it all went hand in hand?
Yeah, it's a good question. Do you know what? More interviews I do, I get asked that question, not all the time, but quite a few times I've been asked that question, and I've never really thought about it like that. But the older I've gotten, when I look back, you're exactly right. I think, yes, I get it. I get it now. I didn't get it back then. I just, as I said, the person I was and the person I wanted to be. So there was no thought of that. I didn't, as I said, when I say that I didn't care about other people's opinions, I really didn't. So I just played and was the joker, if you want to call it that, the person I was. But now looking back, I think I did, yeah. I probably was underestimated by some, by myself. And, you're right. But it was the person I wanted to be. Do you get what I mean, Bo? So, when I look back, I had more ability than probably people give me credit for, So, it probably did go against my football, looking as how good a player he was, and it's more Jimmy the Joker. And looking back, it may have hindered. I never played for a huge club, Bayo. Never. I played for some big clubs. I never played for, your Tottenhams. I was always looking for that next move when I was 27, 28, your Arsenals, your Man United, maybe not Man United, might be a bit out of my league there. But do you get what I mean? I was always playing for mid to lower league Prem teams. I was always looking. I had one chance to go to Celtic, but was that the reason why it hindered me? Was it managers, chairmans looking, he's a bit of a joke, it's a bit too much. The character's a bit too much, because I did see that back end of my career. When
you talk about some of those big clubs that you played for, they're big clubs in their own right, aren't they? I know what you're saying, in comparison to a Manchester United, but you went to Ipswich, and that was kind of you became a bit of a cult hero, even though it was a short time. Why do you think that was? Yeah. And how much did you enjoy your time there?
Comfortability. I think comfortable in your surroundings is very big. I believe the way you start at a football club's massive. The way you start any career, you know, the way you start, when I got into soccer and presenting, we'll talk about later, obviously. But I think the way you start is huge. If you can start by running, your momentum's there. You haven't got to backtrack. You haven't got any doubts in your mind. So I'm a great believer in really doing as much as possible before you go to a club. Really eager on starting well. I mean, first minute, the whistle, you know, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a pass, whether it's keeping it simple, play to your strengths, know what you got. And then from there, just build on that. So wherever I went, if you have a look at all the way through my career, I started amazingly. I started like absolutely fantastic. I think I learned from West Ham. I didn't start great at West Ham, and that learnt me start well, you know. And I had managers that were good for me. It was just like, it was nice. It was Harry Redknapp, Barry Fry, this time Paul Jewell. So I had real men characters that really understood me that I thought really helped.
What was Barry Fry like?
Barry Fry, Laura, how long we got? Wow. He's my dad of football. I've always said he's my dad of football. He's I still speak to him now. He's the most, how can I say, I didn't see him as a manager. I see him as my dad. That's how I can put it. As if, you know, if I got in trouble, he'd always see me and he'd always say football's first. He wasn't frightened of telling me what's what. And he was a real realist, not just a football manager.
And some of those other managers that you mentioned, I mean, there are some big names in there as well. If he was your dad, what were the other managers to you?
Well, we had, let's go through them. We had West Ham, Harry Redknapp. Real hard. I was scared of Harry when I signed for West Ham. Then I went to Peterborough, Barry, my dad. Then I went to Paul Jewell, hot-headed scouser that was like, oh, you know, if you weren't at it with Paul.
Wigan?
Yeah, Wigan.
Okay,
yeah. If you wasn't at it with Paul, you know, he would tell you, he'd know. That's when it becomes serious and football become my living as such. That's when it all started for me. Then I signed for Chris Coleman, who, to be fair, Chris Coleman was one of them where I was gutted I didn't have longer. With him. You know, I was injured. He got sacked during my injury. I was gutted. He was still in player mode. He was one that I'd have loved to play for. Didn't get long. Then we had Laurie Sanchez that didn't have long. Roy Hodgson, the school teacher. Always have him. This is how my head works. Phil Brand. Absolute, the yo-yo I call him. He's up and down. He's popping champagne when he wins, and he's all over the place when he loses. And then Cole Robinson at MK Dons, who was fantastic. The absolute football purist who loved to play football, but I didn't play too many games for him, and I had enough football.
So out of all them managers, so of course we're gonna ask, and you touched on Barry Fry, who was the best for you? So as in,
give me a category.
Yeah, all right, cool. So who was the best for you footballing wise?
Yeah.
And then who was the best for you personal wise, in the sense where it made you feel complete both on and off the pitch?
Yeah, but Paul Jewell footballing wise, because but as a footballer and as a sportsman, we're winners, right? We always want to win, and when we win things, as you know, son,
Thank you.
When you win things, it makes it that much better, and that's all what we. That's the reason why we wanted to play football, right? So Paul Jewell, 5 years, won 2 championships, stayed in the Premier League, got to a cup final, you know, put medals upstairs in my house that I absolutely see every day and I cherish. So Paul Jewell was that man. But to make me feel like the man I'm now and started Barry Fry. Barry Fry just like made me feel like I could do anything.
All right, so then...
But I'd say Roy Hodgson tactically was unbelievable.
So who didn't you get on with then?
Oh, there's a few. Do you know what? Do you know why I don't go down this road? Because I've got a very vicious tongue. And then men that I didn't get on with, no.
Yeah.
I've been in the same room and I've told them. And
so that means if you've told them, you can tell us. So that's cool, because it's not like you haven't said it. So if you told them, you can tell us. Who didn't you? You don't have to go deep, but just who didn't you just like, nah, my energy just didn't take to you.
I don't do it. So I'll tell you the reason why I don't do it. Because when I see that man again, he has nothing on me except that moment I see him in the office. I told him eye to eye.
Wow.
I don't do it. Yeah. I don't do it. And there was a few big moments. I so want to know. And there's another big reason why I don't do it. because I signed a contract and a few of them went to court, so I can't do it.
It's a non-disclosure thing. So legally.
That's how you had to start. That's how
Fair
you
enough.
ended. Say that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's fine. Look, there are so many funny moments as well with your career, and they get played again and again, don't they? The Duncan Ferguson one just goes around and around. Does it still make you laugh when you see it?
Yeah, would do. When I'm out on the street, do you know what like kids, men and women, they come past me, go, I ever get noticed for three things, right? It's the man on the jungle.
Yeah.
It's Soccer AM, or it's the Duncan Ferguson man, as the weird look. And they're the three things that people relate to me as. They're the three main huge things. So
and you're like, I did have a career, actually.
Yeah, but it's weird. And I think that's where Bo got his question from. You know, a little bit underrated in my football. I'm known for all these other things apart from my football. So, yeah, but it doesn't bother me at all.
I was about to say that. So I was about to say that, JB. I was like, look, footballers know what you've done. You know, footballers know that. And listen, I have said that, and we'll touch on it a little bit later, that I actually want to get to a point when I finish my career and I move on to the next bit, I also want them to say, oh, and he did play football as well, just because I'm doing well in other, and that's what you're doing now. You know what I'm saying? So I think don't watch it. I mean, for me, before even working with you, knowing with you, I was it was so infectious, your character. So, you know me, I like goal celebrations. So even when you did is it Phil Brown? Is it
Telling now.
like when you did, for me, especially being in the changing room, because I thought when he was telling you man off or trying to do the team talk outside, I was thinking, what the hell is this? You know, that for me, and then for you to flip it on its head, for me, I thought it was pure you. But before I knew you, if you understand what I'm saying. So listen, I thought it was amazing. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, as all them celebrations, you know, and even though I take credit for it, we was having pre-match meal on a Friday evening, and Paul McShane, the mad Irishman, said, we got to do that. It was away at Man City the year after. We got to do that. We got to reincarnate that. And then whoever scored done it. And I just I'm lucky I had the penalty and I scored. So that could have been anyone, really. Yeah. We all bought into that. But we did put it to bed. Phil Brown, you know, he'd give us a look afterwards in the change room, like, no more, boys. We put that to bed. And, yeah, it was amazing. Still see it. Still, you know, kids... you know, I've been in a shopping precinct and I'll get 6 kids drop to their knees and like tell us off and start filming. I'm like, what are you doing? It's just nuts. So it's fantastic. It's great if you still got.
Before we move away from your career, I just want to, and because there's, I mean, when I say career, I mean footballing career. Before we step away from that into what you're doing now and how you transitioned, what are those highlights when you look back at it? What are the biggest moments that you'll always cherish about your career?
Football highlights. One, as I said, with Wigan winning, you know, we getting promotion in the Championship and winning a medal, that was always what I wanted to do. And then it progressed, and then we went in the Premier League. I always wanted to play in the Premier League as a kid in a playground. I always see that as the pinnacle, you know, play as high as you can in English football. The Prem was like, wow, like if we're playing the Prem, that's big time. So I achieved that, and then it went on, wow, can I play for my country? And then I got picked by Fabio Capello, and me and my family are still celebrating that moment. So there's your 3 big things, you know, really winning things, Premier League, playing, but getting there with Wigan. And getting there with Wigan was an amazing achievement. You know, we put Wigan on the map, really. As a Division 1 team when I went there, and we went up with the same players. We had a few add-ons. Jason Roberts, Nathan Ellerton made a huge difference to us. You're only as good as your strikers, in my opinion. And then finally getting in the England squad, which was an absolute monster. And also, I would say, getting to a Carling Cup final, that was an amazing day against Man United, even though we got stuffed 4, but it doesn't matter.
All right, so all amazing. So I want to take you back. So listen, you'll know that, but you're a skinny brother. You're a skinny brother now, so you would have been a skinnier brother when you started the game. So, you know what I'm saying? So I just have to throw that out because you're my guy and I could be real with you. So, you know, coming up, so when you was coming up in the game as a little kid, how did you get that? Listen, you're too small to play. I mean, you would have always been probably technically gifted, but and how did you deal with that? How did you deal with like we all would have got rejected? How did you deal with, no, you know what? I'm good enough. in who I am to make it. So how did you deal with that? Just for
Yeah.
those that don't know, you making it.
Absolutely. And it's a good question, mate, because there'll be a lot of kids out there that struggle with that. Especially in English football. You know, my boy's going through it now. You know, he's 13, but he's more in an 11-year-old's body. And you can be a 13-year-old in a 15-year-old's body. So there's a lot of power and pace difference in that. Yeah. I felt that as a kid. I was very tiny, as you say, skinny brother. Do you know what I mean? So that was me. And technically I felt I was there, but power and pace is such a huge part of the game. Was then, is even more so now. I really struggled with it. I didn't even get in my school team, you know, Bayo. I didn't, you know, I was like 12th man. I was always sub, and it was like 14, 15, 16 I started to develop. 17 I went into men's football. Then I even struggled with size still, because if you look at some of my photos at West Ham, I see the other day, I was so tiny. And I remember Harry Redknapp going into the first, he signed me one summer. I went into that summer and he said, Jim, you've got to get in the gym. You're ridiculous. I can't play you because of your size. So straight then I was feeling the pressure from my own manager. Yeah. So size has always been a thing of mine. But then it's weird because how I dealt with it, to answer your question, how I dealt with it back then, I don't really know. I just got on with it. And to have a strong mum and dad that always drummed into me, especially my dad, it ain't about size. He see my attributes, and my attributes were fitness. I underestimated how I'll tell you one thing. I was the fittest player in the Premier. I was the fittest player in English football. No one would beat me at fitness. I don't mean power, strength in gym. Yeah. I mean athlete. I mean, I would cover 13k a game, bro. Yeah. That's animal.
So that's your strength.
You ain't. Yeah. I'm not saying running around the pitch is everything. That's my strength, but that's because of my size. But I didn't have no managers see that as my strength until I went to Wigan.
Okay.
And then people going, wow, look at the kilometre he's finished. Look, you know, look at the ground he's covering. But then I also was producing. So people started. And then I was running off folk like it's going out of fashion and scoring. I was like, you blowing, isn't you? Like, you're 18 stone, your muscle counts for nothing now. You know? And then I started developing into this character I'm now, very confident. And I was like, I want to keep... My fighting weight was 12 stone 2, which was nothing of me. And every time I went above that, I didn't feel myself. So between 11.10 and 12.2 was when I was at my fittest. When I was at 13k, I was running off people like you would not believe. Wigan had a third striker because of me. That's end of. Paul Jewell, I made a millionaire because of me. You can ask him that. I was running off. That's because of my skinniness. Yeah, that's because I was Mo Farad up to the max.
Do you know the worst thing is, bruv, he said 11.10. That's my right arm. That's
I mean, that's not much more than what I weigh.
What? That's crazy. But again, your strength is your strength. So I salute on that.
But but it's so important for the kids watching that. Know your strengths.
Exactly.
I see wingers and kids trying to take boys on and then not got it. But there's other strengths you can get. Do you get what I mean? There's so many ways you can play football. But as soon as you realise your strength, you'll find a way. Do you get what I mean? Listen, and work on your weaknesses.
Of course, I'm with you on that. And listen, I'd always say, in the sense where the earliest you can figure out what you are about, the better you will be. Like I've kept said it. People said about getting to the champ and how am I going to cope with defenders? I was like, defenders was faster than me in League 2. They're faster than me in League 1. They're going to be faster than me in the champ. I have no quarries. You will never see me run away from a centre half. But be comfortable in your. I think that's the most powerful thing that you salute, JB. So salute.
You found your way. You found your way, though, innit? You know, do you know what I mean? You found your way. Obviously, if power and strength's your way, I'm going to put it all in my box and you best get power and strength. You best find something to fight against me. Exactly. But that's in all walks of life. That's like in presenting you're doing now. Find your way. Find your strengths to come across. You know. You both know about that.
That's exactly actually. When you were saying that, I was just thinking it works with everything, really, doesn't it? Because like you say, you have to be in the same way that you find your strength in football and something like that. you do that in presenting. And once you've got it, it's authentic. If you don't have that and you don't identify what it is that makes you individual, makes you strong, you can't be authentic. I think it's different.
Ain't nobody can do you or be you better than you. And I'll always say that. Ain't nobody can be JB. Ain't nobody can be LW. Ain't nobody can be Hakim. Ain't nobody can be you, do you better than you. So do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't try and be anybody else.
Brings me on nicely actually to retirement. Were you ready for it when it happened?
Do you know what? I think I was. I found it hard to make that move go in on that day. It was a Monday morning. I woke up, I always remember it. It was at MK Dons. So my career was rapidly, I was going down in the leagues. But at the same time, my body couldn't take it. My knee couldn't take it. And it was time. So to answer your question, I felt I was ready. It was horrible because I didn't want to stop. I felt I could have gone a couple of years, but, it would have been in a medical room. It wasn't training as much, so it was that time. But it's always a horrible feeling, isn't it? If that's what you've done for 20 years,
I want to lead on to that because I know I'm coming up to that. Like JB, I know I'm coming up to that. Like I played Barnsley yesterday and, that feeling after games where it's demoralizing physically and mentally and everything's a struggle, and I'm getting to that. So what was the definitive or that defining moment on that Monday when you was just like, nah, you know what, it's just too much? Because I listen, I've sat down and LW, I'm here after games, so the next day we film is after games, and she knows when I've played because how I drag myself through the door. it's problem, and the thing is, I'll say for me, it's shit, I'm a competitor still in it, and I still get the buzz of the changing room, and I guess the only flip is I'm playing the highest I've ever played, whereas at this sort of age you was going down, so I'm holding on to that. But the fight I'm having with my body. So what was that moment with you where you was just like, nah, you know what? I've got to be done it.
I don't think it's one moment with me. I think everyone will be different on this, and I think you might be different. You might be the same, but I do think everyone have their own little niches and scenarios. But I remember I was training. I was at MK Dons. Remember Alan Smith played for Man United?
Yeah.
He went to MK Dons, good player. I remember leaning up against him. This was Friday, the Friday before I finished on a Monday. I remember leaning up against him just in the training field, and I just fell to the floor, mate. It was embarrassing. I crumbled, and I was like a glass ornament. I fell to the floor, and I broke, and I done my knee, and I thought, that's it. It was just like one of them moments where you felt, I'm just not going to recover it. It was getting... I was getting more and more fractured, and I just knew, and you know when you know. And it was just like little scenarios like that. And then the one big thing that I have a problem with travelling. Towards the end of my career, I struggled with travelling. I love my home so much. I love being around the people I want to be with. So it's like I really struggled with travelling. I had enough on the road, and I know we ain't like touring rock stars as much as that, but it's like Friday going away from your family again, Friday in a hotel in the foreign bed. I just couldn't deal with that concept. It started to drive me mad, and I know it's just one of them little things that is just holding me again. And in the end, I just thought, what am I doing this for? I started to lose touch with the game a little bit. I was on the bench more. I was injured, and it just all made sense. And I thought, no, that's enough. So that's as clear as I can put it to you, really.
I'll get you.
Tell us about the next step for you. So did you have in your head a plan? Because I always remember when I was younger, you were one of the regulars on Soccer AM. You were like one of the favourite guests. They loved you. The fans loved you. The viewers loved you. Did you have it in your head that you wanted to move into TV? And was that the next thing you did, or was there something in the middle?
I never had it's a good question. All through my career, I'm quite thought out. I'm quite deliberate in what I want to do in the next move. It's quite structured. But I never was for that. I wanted to retire. Just that. To be honest, in my football career, I blew a gasket. In what I achieved in football, I really, with my body and mind, I really overexcelled. I was blown out. I was worn out at 34. So I just wanted 2 years off. I wanted to go and do my fishing. I wanted to go and sit by a lake on my own. I wanted to be away from humans.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear my mind and have my own peace and enjoy my family. But then all of a sudden, 2 years passes. I miss football like so bad. There was moments. I remember the first Saturday when I missed, and I just remember watching Gillette Soccer Saturday, Jeff and all the boys, and it just killed me. I remember walking a dog on 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. That was when it hit. And I was like, oh, wow, is this my life now? What am I going to do? So the next 18 months, I really struggled. I didn't watch football. Sky was really nice to me, tried to help me out, got me commentating. Because I didn't watch football, I didn't have a lot of knowledge. So I went on trying to fix something that was broken, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't right. So them 2 years were really hard. So to answer your question, I never, ever had anything planned. But then all of a sudden, I met up with a good agent, Jimmy Irwood, who still looks after me now. He's fantastic. Jimmy. And he sort of got me back on track. And, you know, that's when the jungle come. And that was the start. Jim, what do you want to do next step? I said, I love being in front of people. I love entertaining. He said, well, why don't you look into this and that? And that was really our first meeting. Where do you want to be, Jim? Where do you want to, what's your next step in life? And that was the decision, really. And it's the jungle going on Celebrity Armour. What is it? I'm a Celebrity. Get me out
of here. The show that you was on.
I never got that right. And that's where that started, really. And that brings me on to my career now. And it's just slowly developed. But I never had this thing, finishing football, I want to be this. Don't know what I'm saying now. I'll just do this show with soccer. I've never had that in my head at all.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? That for me felt like a real perfect fit for you, for who you are. Like I imagine from even just now, you know, being able to kind of reignite that love of football and being involved in some way, because you're the beginning of that Saturday. So when you got that job, were there any reservations in taking it for a start? And then what was the first show like?
Well, first of all, Soccer Am, as you said, been a part of it. They've looked after me so much. I felt I was always a little bit part of the show. Yeah. And then before I got the gig, before Fenners called me and said, do you fancy coming on? I'd done one with Bayo, you know the drill. So I'd always go around football clubs before I was presenting on the show. So I was always part of it. And then I'd done that for a year or 2 years. And then Fenners come and asked me, do you want to present? I thought he was joking. I went, you mad? Like, I can't sit there and like read off auto cue and like do all the stuff you do. That ain't me, boy. And he went, no. But we can bring Jimmy Bullard to the screen and then like try and find what you want to do. Oh, mate, the first show.
I could just imagine it. You already know.
Woodsy, Bayo, I went. I was melting. I was trying to be like all this stiff. Like I was talking like this, yes. How's your day been?
Yeah.
What an egg. What an egg, mate, honestly. But then slowly, it took me a long time. This is my 4th year, you know, so it took me a long time to become...
Do you know the funny thing is, so, and I guess, not that we got short memories, but you kind of only think of Jimmy Bullard when you think of Soccer AM. And I know Lovejoy, Chamberlain, they've been doing it for years, but when you say the fit is just right...
It is, isn't it?
It's just right. Hey, JB, the fit is just right.
Really? Well... Look, for you to say that, I'm not just saying it, and I know it's nice work, but that means a lot because, you know, you've had some big, you know, Helen was there 20, I think it's 22 years, fantastic. Some big boots to fill there. Even though I didn't feel that pressure because that's not what I was in it for, but there was some big boots to fill and I was a little bit unsure at the start whether I could do it. There was some, you know, doubts, but I owe so much. There's a great team behind it. You know as much as me, the team behind it. It isn't just about the presenters. You've got all the boys behind the scenes and girls behind the scenes, from bookers to like lighting to sound to cameras to producers to you got such a big crew behind there. People give you so much knowledge, but I owe a massive thanks to Fenners because what he done was understood my strengths and put me and let me find my own strengths in it. It took a bit of time, to be honest, for me to be comfortable on screen, but now I go in. So that man, to see that image was the icing on the cake. He was the one that really took the jump with me because it wasn't a gamble.
Yeah.
It was a gamble. And for you to say that is great for me. You're in the game. So it's great to hear your peers, if you want, say great words like that. I feel comfortable now, but I didn't.
Couple of things I just picked up from what you just said. First of all, which I can only say now that I've been doing it for a few years now, consistently, you know, permanently as a presenter rather than just kind of like dipping a toe and that sort of thing, is everyone is really crap when they start presenting, like, because it's just not a natural thing to do, is it? Like, everyone's crap. And for anyone out there that takes to it like a duck to water, I mean, that's real talent. Like, if you can do that, that's amazing. But I genuinely think that everyone is a bit crap, because it's just, you have to get used to that environment. And then also, for what I always think it takes is for someone like, for you, for example, a Fenners, to go, right, I see something in you and I'm going to back you, and I'm not just going to back you for a show and then drop you if it doesn't work. You're a long-term project for me. I think that's what it takes, isn't it? And it's similar in football.
I felt that. Yeah, guys, you've hit the nail on the head. Long term, you need someone to believe in you, absolutely. And that goes with anything. You know, we're talking about presenting now. But you know more, you know as much as me in that game. You need, if you're comfortable in your surroundings and the people you're working for and with, you know, you can see they believe in you and you've got your own belief. You can go and achieve great things. That's what I believe. You know, I've got the belief there. You just need to be given platforms. You know, the same as you would. You look at your career. You've gone. I used to spend a lot of time with you in that.
Yeah.
In the soccer am. You know. Yeah. And you've gone on. You're amazing at what you do. Bayo,
listen. I'm tired of this. I'm so tired of this. Every guest that comes on gives her so much props. Every single guest. They be like, yo, man, LW, man, you're just amazing. Look what you've done. And I sit here and I'm looking at her thinking,
really? You get it all the time?
No, I don't, JB, Jimmy. Carry on.
All the time.
I can't believe you interrupted him.
All the time. We need to get more girls on so they can say how good I am out here, cuz. I'm telling you, I'm mad.
I want to ask Bayo a question. Can I?
Yeah, of course you can. He's dying for you to ask him a question.
I'm here. No, I'm playing God. What's up?
So when you're playing football at the minute, obviously. Yeah. So great. It's still in a championship. Do you know where your next career move is going to go?
Oh,
now.
Okay. I don't have. So I wouldn't say, and I hang up my boots, I'm exactly going to do this. But what I have done is I've started to implement my next steps. So one thing is, like, I didn't plan my career to maneuver this way. So what I've done now is I've put little
in place.
Yes, little things in place, stepping stones where I know I'm
got foundations.
Yes, that's exactly what I've done. So for me, it's just don't put no roof on top of you. Don't put yourself in a box. You know what I'm saying? That's
Let's think of it as a building. Yeah, you're built like that as well.
Just I remember me and JB did the drill and we had to go against each other and I had to ragdoll him on the floor and messed up his shoulder. But that's because he was banging top bins and that. So I was thinking, I've got to hurt this boy.
Woodsy, he hurt me. You know when you're actually hurt and you don't want to show, and it's like, oh, his face, he's hurt. It's like this. It's like. All the blood goes and it's actually horrible pain. I fell on my shoulder like that.
Oh.
Extended it and I felt something go rip and I was like, oh no. But I didn't want to show him. But I was on the floor. How long, Bayo? You knew, didn't you?
Do you know the worst thing is? I knew that I gave her a little bit of. I was like, oh no, look, there's cameras on up. Let me just show people I'm strong. So I went, and then when he went down, when you hit my side, I'm thinking, oh. Bruv, this, because you know, he's small and that. You know what I'm saying? It's like
at Wickham. It's at Wickham on the. It was on the pitch. It was on the far stick. I've peeled off, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna have a fight with him on the back stick. What are you thinking?
No, you know what? Listen, and you've mentioned it a few times in the sense of how important your family is, how important that you like being around people, people's energy. So, how did you deal with lockdown? How did you deal with not being around? How did you deal with it?
Just How did I deal with it? Being around family, that's all we could do, right? If you're lucky enough to have your family within your own household. I spent a lot of time with them, spent a lot of time with kids, more time than I have done before. I've got a lot of hobbies as well. Fishing, and there's a lot of this is so boring for you, but I love fishing and I love landscaping. So my garden was as immaculate as it ever has been.
Wow.
And
I see that. I see you had some work done with your garden, and I see it. Nice, man. He's a baller, man. Proper put a pool in there and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, I loved it. I just went to graft, basically. I just grafted. I was a builder, decorator. That was my first trade for 5 years, so I know my way around. I know what I'm doing. I know what I wanted. I had a vision. I went and done it.
I love that. So lockdown was quite good for you then?
Yeah, sometimes. It's like, when you start something, the foundations, you look outside, you're like, oh my God, what have I started?
Yeah. I follow him. I see him. He posts his fish and that. I won't lie to anybody. For me, fishing, him is ardent strike partner named Cody McDonald, and he loved fishing. Like, I'm talking about full blown, get his iPad, and then for the weekend, after the game, get his iPad, and then you wouldn't see him. Saturday after the game, bam, we'll have Monday off, and it'll be like, yeah, B, on Tuesday, come in. I'll be like, what did you do? He said, yo, man, I sat there. It was the best 2 days. I was like, what? On my life, I swear. He tried to get me to come.
Sit there. You don't understand.
He tried to get me to come. Like, we were on the pitch. We was like this. And then he was like, yeah, B, listen, man, let's just come fishing with me. Like, we'll just sit there and we'll just talk. I was like, excuse you? Excuse you? Hey, JB, just for the people that don't, what is it about fishing?
It's so good for you. It's so good for your mind. It's a sport. It's the biggest anticipated sport in the world, right? So
Participated.
Nature,
it's a sport.
And the hunting in the man. That's, if you want the raw aspects of angling, that's what it's about. It's just so nice to be out there in amongst
Nature.
you're away from people. How much we like people, it's nice to get away from each other sometimes and have your own mind thoughts, and it creates a lovely environment and nature, and also the sport and the hunting in the man, like when you actually
primal
see fish, hunt fish, catch
Look
fish.
at him.
He's gone caveman on us.
See fish, hunt fish, get fish.
See, you'd be good at it. You'd be good at it, Bayo. All right. Well, I've got an idea though, because the thing is, obviously, Jim, you love it so much that you got a new podcast. You already have a big The Magic Sponge is so popular. People love it.
He had me on the Magic Sponge.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
He had me on it.
Right. But you're going to start another one, and it's coming out this Sunday. Bobby Zamora is your first guest, and it is filmed while you're fishing. What's it called?
Yeah. It's called Off the Hook.
Nice.
As you said, I've done the Sponge. That was real raw, in your face. That was 4, 5, 6 years ago we done that. Amazing what we done. Had such a crack. And I thought, I always knew in my head I wanted to do another podcast, but I wanted to sort of create an environment. It's a bit different, and somewhere where I could take the footballers, if you want, and the boys I knew and the girls I know, somewhere different, and a place where I wanted to be. Now, I'm not a very indoorsy person. I like to be outdoors. So I thought, why not fishing? So I called it. I've got these amazing people around me, right? And it's amazing what pictures you can get and when nature surrounds you. So I thought, podcast while I'm fishing, and not that, it creates an environment for my guests to come. I can teach them how to fish. Some of them love it. Some of them don't like it so much. But it's a great environment to get them and to open up to me. It's different. And sitting around the table, it's totally different. And you wouldn't believe some of the boys I've had on how competitive they are, because fishing is very competitive. But it's honestly, I absolutely love it. It's an amazing... It's going to... Look, I'm the last to blow me on trumpet, but I'm going to blow me on trumpet on this. It is an amazing watch. It isn't all about fishing. It's like about the person. I've got some great guests, and I can't tell you about some of them because they're that good. They're that good. We've got some massive back. We've got some great good guests in, but Bobby Zamora being the first one I played at Fulham with. The reason why I chose Bobby first is he's an angler himself, and I thought I'd start it off with a bang, get an angler on. Bobby's great. He doesn't do a lot of interviews. He keeps himself to himself, Bob. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, right, I want someone that tells us stories that we've never heard before. So Bobby is a fantastic start. And listen, I love it. And the other reason, sorry to go off on one here, the other reason why I love it brings back what I once said. It's the sport that I loved. I thought, how can I make myself a professional fisherman? Well, off the hook. I sit down in front of a camera, be an attention seeker. I love my fishing. I've got the best gig in the world. That is the best gig I could ever have. Go fishing. Why I've got my guests there. Amazing.
That's what I'm saying. You must know I don't like fishing because I didn't get the phone call. But
you might do. Season 2?
I'm not going to hold up against. I'm not going to hold against you. It's okay, brother.
Bayo, do you know what? That was, and I know we're on here, but brings me to. I was going to ask you while I was on here whether you could be a guest on my Off the Hook podcast, but I don't want like a yes just because of cameras and then you get flaky like a lot of the footballers do. What? I want it to be a yes and a concrete yes.
All right, first and foremost, JB, I could never get flaky with you. And that's real bars for real stars, you get what I'm saying? Like, but I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? I just want to say, like, I'm going to do it because it's you. And it'll be the first time ever that I'll be doing this fishing thing. So I'll do it because it's you. So 100%, it's a yes, and it's quote me because we're recording on this. So we're doing this.
Sweet, you're in.
I can't wait to hear it because I feel like I want to know what you wear.
Yeah, it's gonna be problematic.
straight on the fashion.
Are we doing this in the summer? Are we gonna do this in the summer? Because JB, as big as I am, when I'm cold, bruv, I act like a big ass baby. I'm not gonna lie to you, brother.
But have you got welly boots?
No, I'm gonna have to go purchase that. Bruv, I'm telling you, there better be a blow heater. I'm telling you.
Listen. We make sure all the guests are comfortable. Don't worry about that. And to be fair, to answer the question, that's what it does. It does make a comfortable environment for the guest and a different environment for the guests to open up. And you know, I can get right into them. It is good. It's fantastic. Bayo, I promise you one thing.
God.
You're like.
I say no. I'll go with you. All right, listen, for people that don't know, so JB, you own a pub. You're a landlord of your pub, right?
Yep.
Hey,
yep.
So
I actually didn't know that.
I knew that because I remember, like, I was trying to get a job there sometimes. I ain't been there. I was trying to get a job there sometime, but you know what I'm saying? No, because I follow JB in it, and so I remember when he was looking for some staff and that. So how is it? What made you go down the pub route?
My family, really. My dad's from the east end of London, and his dad had so many pubs back in the 60s, 70s. So my family's always been publicans, if you want. And then the pubs are a dying trade. Before COVID come along and hit, the pubs have really been struggling. So it's in my family's roots, really. And a pub come available in the property crashed 12 years ago. And this pub sat in the middle of Crayford on top of the hill. We see it as iconic. We see it as, you know, in the middle of South East London, absolute perfect pub. There's a lot of pubs closing down. So we see it as a business venture and one as for an enjoyment for a family that I could give to my dad. And it's the best thing I've ever bought.
Wow,
it's the best thing I've ever bought. So, you know, for a lot of reasons, it's the best thing I've ever bought. It's been tough, obviously, with this COVID hitting, but honestly, Bayo, that's the reason why my dad, it's in great hands. You know, I knew as soon as I put him at the helm, he just fly with it. He loves it. We love it. But it's a great thing. It's absolutely fantastic.
Do you ever get behind the bar and serve? Do you help out?
Yeah, I have done. I know how to pull a pint. I know how to chain. Yeah, I can run a pub on my own if I need to.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, in the pub game, you've got to live and breathe it. It's every day, you know, you've got to live there. You've got to, you know, basically you imagine you live upstairs in your own houses, wherever you live, but your living room downstairs is full of people, you know, that come in and have a drink. You know, publicans don't have their own space a lot. It's only the upstairs they've got people coming in their properties at the bottom. It's a tough life, but for the publicans, it's their life that they want to live. They love it. They love being around people. So any publican out there, you'll know what I mean. I've just changed managers in my pub, you know. So it's a real tough, hardy, but rewarding at the same time. If you really love the pub life, it can be a fantastic job. But it's not for me. It's not for me.
All right, listen. So me and LW, we're gonna have a daiquiri off, right? So Yeah, so
Strawberry daiquiri.
a strawberry daiquiri. So she feels like she can do one. And when I learnt mine in lockdown. So she feels like she's got it. I feel like I got it. What's your go-to? If you was to do a cocktail, what would be your go-to cocktail?
See, I love fruit drinks, so like a pina colada. So I know it's proper Del Boy, but
Del Boy.
I'm proper. As long and even though I'm probably, I've always hated. I like a good drink, you know, when we go out, but I've never been. I don't like the taste of alcohol. Never have done since a kid. So I'm always trying to hide the taste of alcohol with fruit drinks or whatever. So
Make it sweet.
I'll make the best cocktails, mate. Some of my cocktails, you wouldn't even know there's alcohol in until you start trying to leave, and then you're all over the shop.
We called them slow burners, them creepers. We told them creepers out here.
I'm obviously not very good because you know how much alcohol mine has in it. So genuinely, I'm probably not as good as I think I am at making
Yeah. Like LWs will talk out here. I'm telling you out here. So when we have our DAC off, it's going to be one way. So all right, a little fun thing. If you was, who would you not have in your bar? So for all the people that you've played against, and they was like, oh yo, JB, I'm coming to your bar. Who would you be like? Hell no.
Not coming to my bar.
Who's barred from your bar?
No, I like that. Who's barred for your bar?
I'll tell you who's barred from my bar. Neil Razor Ruddock.
Oh,
I wonder why.
yeah.
He's the monster, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's a loose cannon. I love Riise, and I still absolutely love him. Another one as well, Tamer Hassan. Do you know Tamer?
Yeah, but both
The
of them.
actor.
The actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're both lunatics.
Yeah.
They're both lunatics.
Mad.
Like, I actually, I think I chucked Razor out of my pub.
No, do tell.
Yeah.
Tell us the story.
Yeah, I can't.
Huh? JB, you can't give us and take away, bruh. Huh?
He's just mad. I said, Ray's like, it's drinking too much. Don't worry about it. Like, this was like, we done the magic sponge in my pub.
Oh wow.
We filmed it as me, Tubes, you know, from Soccer Am. I had him on, Razor Ruddock. We had like a load of us around a table. We rolled the cameras for 4 hours. We could only edit 15 minutes of it. It was fantastic. You know, lads, and all that was all in. Lads. About 15 of us. Brilliant.
Oh, amazing. Hey, that's a good
but
answer.
there's a few that I wouldn't want in my pub, but that's you know, that happens, don't it?
Nah, we're good with that.
I suppose that really, my last question was basically who the wildest is that you've been, because I mean, you've got teammates, managers, like colleagues now as well. Who's the wildest that you've had on a night out? It's probably you, isn't it?
What a footballer that you would know?
Yeah, go on.
I'll tell you who's bananas, but a silent nanas, like a silent assassin. Wayne Bridge.
Wayne Bridge.
Bridgie, yeah.
No.
Bridgie. Yeah, Bridgie comes across, hello.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
missed you, mate.
So
you
quiet.
get him on a night out, mate. It's like, oh my God, what's happened here?
Oh, wow. To be fair, you know the thing is, I full blown know that. So, you know, in the changing room, you've got a player who is so quiet. That's why I love like the Christmas do, because you see them in their natural habitat.
True colours.
They're true. And you're like, yo, you are mad. And you just look at them because they're prim and proper throughout every day, coming training, dressed. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags, 4, sir. And then on a night out, the man put their thing on their head and they start dugging or doing a running man. You're like, what the hell?
Then they come in Monday and go, what's the matter?
What exactly?
You are? Didn't do nothing. You're nanas.
Oh, Bridgie. We're very Bridgie.
Right.
Snap.
Listen, we could talk to you all day.
I could.
I mean, Jimmy, honestly, it's always such a pleasure to catch up with you, and it's so good to see you doing so well as well.
Thanks, guys, and thank you so much for having us on. And cheers. And you know, I respect you both. You know that, don't you?
Well, we'll come to the pub one day.
100%.
No, you won't.
Oh,
You're
great.
mad as well.
We're the ones that are barred, aren't we?
Don't make out you ain't mad, would you? I've seen you. Don't worry about that. You're nanas as well.
That's you two out here. Hey, JB, I'm a quiet brother. Don't do that. Don't put me in there, brother.
You know what?
But
when you guys were saying that,
anytime you
when you were saying about Wayne Bridge, I was like, I'm just going to keep quiet here.
But yours is not even quiet. I don't even care, brother. I know you're mad, so it is what it is. I've been out with you as well. Jeez.
Look, you got to enjoy yourself, right?
You
You got to
100%.
enjoy
You do,
yourself.
you do.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly. Jimmy, listen, good luck with the podcast. We can't wait to hear
Lovely.
it. Good luck getting
Thank you
Bayo
so
on
much.
there as well.
I'm there, man.
Yeah.
And we're still watching you on Soccer Aim and we're absolutely loving it. We'll speak to you again very
guys.
soon.
And for everyone listening, watch out. Off the Hook. It's going to be blinding.
Off
See
the
you
hook,
later.
people. I
See you
blessings,
later,
JB.
Jimmy. Jimmy is just brilliant, isn't it? I could speak to him all day. He's hilarious.
I'm telling you, like, listen, I've known Jimmy for a little while, and his lust for life is mad. So
Great.
listen, JB, keep being you, bruv. Salute.
Right, okay, it's time to have a little look at the Super 6 fixtures for round 20. When did we get to 20?
20.
20! So download the Super 6 app, create an account and play for free by predicting the scores of 6 chosen matches, and you'll be within chance of winning £250,000 this week.
Ooh, big money, big money. All right, so last week we said, what would he buy our bosses for Christmas if he won the jackpot, right?
Yeah.
So this week, I'm going to ask the question, like, what is the worst gift you got for Christmas? So LW, I'm going to throw it your way. What is the worst gift you got?
God, look, I've had a few bad stocking fillers. I feel so ungrateful saying this, and the only reason I can say this is because my nan doesn't listen to the podcast. Oh God, but if anyone, just don't tell her, okay?
All right, cool. We won't tell her.
No one
Nan, we won't tell her.
Big Lynn, listen, I love her, but she's like, I love animals, right? And I always have since I was little. I wanted to be a vet, but I just wasn't good enough. So hence I fell into this, obviously. So like when I was younger, I used to love dogs as well. And she used to get me like dog things when I was younger, you know, like a cuddly toy dog and things like that.
Okay.
Anyway, that was when I was little. Last Christmas, I was 32, right? And she got me a ceramic dog. Right, it's just like a kind of one that sits on the windowsill or something. A ceramic dog in a ceramic bed. That was what it was. And I looked at it and I was like, what?
It's Nando.
It's Nan. So obviously I kept it, put it in the cupboard. I've got 2 more of them. The Christmas before that, she got me. She got me this thing. It was like a puppet, like a dog puppet.
See, now that's bad.
And
That one is bad. Like the ceramic, you know, I want to say old folks do that, but you know,
Yeah,
they kind of,
they do.
old folks kind of like that sort of, it looks nice and that dog puppet. So what you do? Woof, woof.
it's like a hand puppet thing. And I looked at it for ages and I was like, what is it? And it was just a dog, right? But it didn't look like a dog. It looked like a werewolf. And I put it on my hand and I was like, and I realised it was actually a toy for a dog. So she hadn't realised.
Did you have a dog at this time?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's a bad gift. That's a bad gift. That is a bad gift. Yeah.
It was the funniest.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
I've definitely got a picture of it somewhere. I'm going to find it.
We'll have to
send
get
it
up.
you.
Nan, that's a bad gift. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Don't tell her. Obviously, don't tell her.
Well, to be fair, I'm trying to think of mine. I guess one of my worst gifts was my other half got me. The worst thing is she got me a suit, right? The suit was bad. It was too big, but she looking like, yeah, I've done it. And you know, you looking at like, you kind of are thinking, oh, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Thank you. To me, that's just to be fair, she's not a great gift giver anyway. So I think she thought, oh, yeah, I've come trumps. And it actually really wasn't. So I have to say it was maybe a 2 times big size suit that was kind of military green. It wasn't great.
So you didn't? Did you fake that you liked it?
Yeah, I
And
gave
then-
the smile. I was like, yo, a good looking at a suit. You know, because there was, because she was, her whole energy was like, oh yeah, this year I went above and beyond. I was like,
Oh no.
you really didn't. I'll just tell you that now. But I guess that's got to be my worstest gift.
Now, listen, we also have our Super 6 League, so you can join by using the code SUPER6, and there is a £1,000 prize for the winner of that league. A reminder as well, you can invite your mates to join Super 6, and if any of your invited friends go on to win the jackpot, then you will win £25,000. That's good, isn't it?
Yes, cash money.
Okay, prediction time. So here's our 6 fixtures. We're going to run through them and say who we think's going to win. Not just that, what the score's going to be. So, Bayo, first one, Blackburn v Norwich.
Tough one, I think. Blackburn off the back of a loss. I don't know what Norwich done, and I've got a couple of people I know at Blackburn. So I'm going to say a 2-1 win to Blackburn.
I'm going to flip that and I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Norwich, actually, despite the fact they're away from home. I think they're looking quite good.
Okay.
Birmingham v Watford.
I think it's going to be an away win, so I would say I'm going to go 2-1 Watford.
I'm also going to go for a Watford win because Troy Deeney is one of my many work husbands. You're up there as well.
Say none.
Yeah. So I can't go against him. Did you see the penalty he scored the other day, straight down the middle? And he said, this was like a couple of weeks ago, and he said on air to us, like, I'd always do the same thing. I go straight down the middle. And then he got a penalty like a few days later, did exactly the same thing. And we were like, do you not listen? Like, does nobody listen to us? He told you what he's going to do. Anyway, I'm going to go for a Watford win as well. And I think it's going to be, he's a Birmingham fan too. That's his club.
Is he, yeah?
Yeah. That's his club. So, ooh.
And he's going to score. I'm telling you, I've already said this. I'd say Deeney will score again.
Did you say 2-1?
I said 2-1.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay with you as well, 2-1. Okay, Bournemouth v Huddersfield.
I'm going to go for a home win. We got Bournemouth next week, Tuesday.
Ooh.
So I hope they do win so they take their foot off the gas when they come against us. So I'm going to say 3-1 Bournemouth.
I'm going to say 2-0 Bournemouth.
Okay.
Forest, Brentford.
Forest are going through it at the moment and Brentford are looking good. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Oh, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Brentford.
Okay.
Borough v Millwall.
Away at Middlesbrough, both direct teams. I'm going to also go for a 1-1 draw.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to go for a Borough win here. I'm going to go 2-1 for Warnock's boys.
All right.
Derby v Stoke.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Stoke away win.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to go for a 1-0 Derby win.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
All right.
All right, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Jimmy, as well, for joining us today. We loved it.
Come on, JB. Thanks for that, brother.
Remember, if you want to get involved on Twitter, you can follow us at Super6 and you can use the hashtag Super6Podcast.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure the podcast downloads automatically each week.
See you next time.
Take care, people. Peace.